You know, strangest thing, while I was watching this episode, I got the biggest craving for bananas. I wonder why. This week's episode opened with something we haven't actually seen in a good while, the stock intro. I don't know, there's just something really entertaining about how Homari delivers her own name so flatly that you end up kind of missing it after a while. Anyway, the episode proper opens with the team hanging out the Beauty Harry and, as usual, gushing over Hagutan, while partaking in a massive plate of hotcakes. Yeah, I don't know what recipe book they were reading from, but I think their measurements were just a little bit off. This was reinforced by Hana's reaction, as apparently they tasted so bad that it caused a reading Steiner effect? No, actually, they had somehow been transported to the future where Harry's old hamster community was waiting. And while these girls were initially swooning over these little rodents, something did feel very off, considering that this future was supposed to have been frozen by Kryasu. Things felt even more off after Harry encountered a familiar face. Weirdest part about this episode? Not seeing this character take the ham up to 11. Yeah, unsurprisingly, this wasn't the real Bishin, and neither were all of the other hamsters. This was all in fact a virtual simulation based on someone's memories. And while I personally thought it might have been Harry's memories at first, on reflection, I think they might have belonged to a certain grey hamster with a cape fetish. Yup, Risto had been using some of Dr. Trom's leftover technology, probably something similar to that dream projector from episode 32. And apparently, virtual projections also have the ability to eat, but alright, let's not try and make sense of anything from this guy. Anyway, another piece of Trom tech that Risto had on hand was a dimensional transport they used to send the Precure into an abstract world that looked like a cross between a Roger Penrose fever dream and a rejected Sonic Mania level. Though, considering how buggy it was, maybe it was actually a rejected level from Sonic 06.
It's no use! It's no use! No use!
I make no apologies for using that clip. Back with the hamsters, Risto tried to convince Harry to come back to Kryasu and hand over the Miai Crystal White. Obviously, these two didn't see eye to eye. You know, I never thought I would want to see a DBZ style fight between Hamtaro characters, but points to this show, it sold me on it. So yeah, the fairy mascot actually had a short but very decent fight with a major villain of the series. Sure, he ended up losing, but still A for effort, dude. During all of this, Hakuta managed to get a hold of their product placement, I mean their tambourine thing, and somehow managed to signal the Precure back to their normal dimension. The Precure themselves managed to break through by punching the dimensional walls. Hana, I like you and everything, but you're still not quite at that level, but keep working at it. However, Risto still had more up his sleeve. This time, he actually did transport them to the frozen future, a place completely devoid of any Asu power, leading to Hagutan's color timer to go out instantly. With the toddler taking a nap, the memorial cure clock was also out of commission, which only meant the worst for the Precure, as this place also had so much Toge power that Risto didn't even need a catalyst to create a Mo Shimaida. And while they struggled with this monster, Risto again tried to convince Harry to come back to their side by reminding him how truly powerless they were to the hands of fate. As it turned out, the residents of Harry's village tried to sign with Kryasu, believing that not only would they be able to cure them of a sudden virus epidemic, but also protect the village from any impending threat. However, I guess there are just certain world line convergences we could never escape from. We're unfortunately not giving any exact details, but according to Dr. Trom at least, this was an inescapable twist of fate. And considering we haven't seen any other hamster employees, or at least not enough to match the hamster community's population, yeah, this series took a bit of a depressing turn. Faced with the unstoppable force that were the hands of fate, Harry was just about ready to give up, until a familiar cheer began to ring in his ears. With a second win and some cheers from Harry, the Precure managed to defeat the Mo Shimaida with just Hana's normal finisher. Okay, we established why the memorial clock was unusable, but should she really be able to take down a stronger than average Mo Shimaida with just that? Oh well, the episode is pretty much over anyway. Okay, so that was a bit of a rushed episode, but overall I thought it was... Oh, we're still going, huh? Again, this led into a good one-on-one fight with him, this time with Hana, but it was cut short when Hana's words inspired Hagutan to unleash the full power of the Mirai Crystal White.
Mother!
Your mom is a Titan? Jeez, between this and Gridman, it's always the ones you least expect. The White Crystal reformed into a brand new jewel and seemed to generate a significant paradigm shift as reflected in George's book, which seems to contain the records of all future events. Using their new Mother Heart Crystal, the Precure gained wings, as well as thankfully a much better finisher. Yeah, it's still no Heartcatch Orchestra, but at least these chants remind me of Hero Academia. With that, they seem to purify Risto, though he does still return to Karasu. He declared his hatred towards George, but based on everything in this episode, I think this hamster might be stuck in an abusive relationship that he can't escape from. Also, in between all of this, Hana had an encounter with the Precure of the future. Gee, I wonder what this is building to. With that, the episode ended with everyone returning to the Beauty Harry just in time to greet a new customer, Dr. Trom, who had come to see his reluctant daughter. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure, did we all pile into the DeLorean? Because it feels like this plot was going at about 88 miles per hour. I mean, while there were some good character moments and action, it did feel a little bit watered down because of that rush pace. Again, much like most of this series, there are some great moments and story ideas here. The idea that the residents of Harry's community try to defy fate only to come up short is a great setup for a tragic backstory. Connect those with some emotional and competently put together battles where they try to fight out their ideals can lead to some great moments in a vacuum. Here though, it felt like they were trying to cram 2 to 3 episodes worth of material into one episode. If it were me, I would have focused this episode on learning more about the hamster community, maybe learn more about the relationship between Harry, Bishin, and Risto, and why they were so close. Then maybe Risto's possible defeat might have left a little bit more of an impact. From there, I would end on a cliffhanger with the Precure trapped in the abstract dimension. For this, I really don't know what happened behind the scenes with this episode. Did Fumi Saboda try to rush things? Did they not want to end the episode from 2 weeks ago on a cliffhanger? Or was the episode count cut short because of the production of those anniversary episodes that serve mostly as just ads for All-Stars memories? And while we're on the subject, I think it's about time for that little news report segment I did last week. The Anime Times says that box office projections are predicting a total revenue of 1.5 billion yen for All-Stars memories. That's about 13 million US, and beats out the previous best-grossing Precure movie, Deluxe 2, and the latest, and actually good, Kamen Rider crossover movie. Precure is going to beat out Kamen Rider. What kind of warp future have we been transported to? One thing that is for certain is that the Precure franchise is going through a massive transitional period, which now they have more than enough revenue to accomplish. How much of an impact this will have on the show's final score remains to be seen, but for now we can only hope that things slow down and decompress a little bit now that they've advertised all of their products. At the very least, let's just hope that this doesn't lead to a disastrous world line. Since Hakuto took last week off, I managed to finish my review of the Smile Precure movie. Check it out, as I think it is one of the better solo Precure movies. A review for New Stage 1 is also in the works, so look forward to that. And until then though, farewell for now my friends, and... Huh, I thought I took off my watch. And why isn't it working? Uh-oh.